going to introduce our next guest here. He is a college professor, author of School World Order. Please welcome back to the show the Teos professor himself, John Klyczek.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me back. Maybe I'll start off with a nice little segue. I don't know if I was listening to your segment in the waiting room there. I don't know if you picked up on they're going to be using adaptive learning courseware to do that training. And adaptive learning, I've written about it ad nauseum. It's the modern digital version of B.F. Skinner's teaching machines. It's operant conditioning algorithms. They're the kernels that make up all AI ed tech. So what this implicates is that all those ambassadors that are getting trained, they're all going to be getting data mined. Basically, it's going to look at their answers, and based on the way it adapts, that's why they call it adaptive learning, based on the answers provided, the next sequence of modules is provided based on that response. So they're going to get a sense of like what each individual ambassador's perspectives are theologically towards Israel, right? And they'll be able to decide like who's going to still be an ambassador by the end of the course. But they'll also be able to get like group analytics to be able to see like what are some like popular common conceptions among Christians that we're not aware of that we need to deal with in terms of PR. So, and one other thing is they're using Blackboard, which is a learning management system. I've used tons of them. It's the garbagest of all of the LMSs I've ever had to use. So
really,
nice
so it's not even a good one.
It's terrible. I have to use it for one of the schools where I teach. I use D2L at another one, Desire to Learn, and I use Canvas. If I had to choose, I'd rather not use any of them. But I'd pick Canvas, then D2L, and then Blackboard, which I like to call Crackboard. So,
yeah. Well, good to know, man. This is a good transition to the work you've been doing, and this is why I wanted you on today, because you've been looking into this this app. I guess it's called the Upswing AI. And I know you're going to be doing I guess it's a panel up in San Francisco about this weekend. So I want to hear about the work you've done here. But please, let's start with just explaining to the audience what is AI data mining and how this is being implemented in our education system. And I assume that's the topic you're going to be discussing at the panel, correct?
Yeah. And so I'm going to be, one of the things that I want to highlight, so this is going to be a panel, it's going to be cross industry. So I'm going to be representing education. I can't remember the other industries. I know logistics is going to be there. I know there's writers guilds. And so it's going to be a lot of representatives from different unions. And we're looking at the general impacts of AI on various industries and various workers. So, but there's going to be a lot of focus on automation. But one of the things that I wanted to zoom in on for my presentation, and it's the focus of a lot of my research, is that it's not only about automation, but it's also about data mining. And the data mining is not just to improve the AI; it's ultimately to create what are called human capital bonds for social impact investing. So it's really about creating new markets based on data that's extracted from students, and then based on the predictive analytics, they're going to basically securitize these outcomes and just basically create new gambling markets for educational outcomes. And this is going to apply to like the healthcare outcomes and the broader economy as well.
So the tool they're using, and we're talking about like the youth. We're talking about within the education arena. They're presenting it as this is going to be a helpful tool for kids, right? Because they have something to now kind of guide them through the process. And so a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is good, right? It's like their own little, tutor. Like is that how it's being kind of presented here? Like this is a good thing, right? Parents are getting excited.
Yeah. And so the particular company I'm looking at, actually their bot doesn't actually do the tutoring, but it intermediates all the services that it connects the students with. So if you want, I think I sent you the link. We could check out it's like a 3-minute clip so you can see the students interact with the bot. But the bot does data mine all the outcomes, and if we scroll to the top of the page, you'll see where it says that. But let's just go ahead and play that so your audience can get a sense.
Hi.
So the first thing it helps with here is like daily planning, organizing. So it's going to have access to metadata as far as the students' routines and schedules. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can see the link for the weekly planner is Anna dot, so it goes into Anna's dashboard. Okay, so here's the. I think this is the. No, this is time management.
Okay. I mean, okay. I'm looking at this right away. I'm like very skeptical. I'm like, so I'm embarrassed to talk to a human being. Can I talk to you? You'll understand, right? You understand me more, right?
Yeah.
Is that
I was going to say that ought to help the student build confidence to talk to human beings, right?
I mean, yeah, that's the lesson here. That's the under lesson under everything here is you're going to need this thing, and then you're going to become reliant on it, of course, and then you can't live without it. And then when you're stuck in a situation, so these are all these fears I have right away that this is definitely wrong. Let me keep playing here. But that's the first thing I thought of. I can't talk to a person. Can I talk to you? You'll understand me.
Wait till you get to the end of this. Okay, Upswing is the company that Anna belongs to. So again, it's gonna send them to a human tutor here. But the dashboard, the interface that they're using, all that analytics goes into the Anna database. I imagine eventually Anna will do the tutoring, but not currently yet.
Okay, so so these are all the things that Anna helps with. It's grades, time management, motivation, mental health, something else. But you're saying it's not Anna that's going to do it. Anna's going to put you towards the thing that will do it. Is that what you're saying? Like
it's going to connect you with. So as far as the daily planners, the time management stuff, it I guess has like its own little I don't know, spreadsheets that you can use. But the tutors, like it's kind of like I used to work for Pearson back in the day. It looks very similar. So you have like a whiteboard, and so there'll be a human on the other end, but this whiteboard, you're going to upload your paper, and so all of the feedback and communications through is going to get data mined. And then the fourth one, which he's going to be asking for now, or he or she's asking for, the mental health stuff. Okay. And so they'll connect them with a mental health.
Oh, here we go. Death in the family. I can't talk to a human, so I need to talk to a robot. How do I deal with death?
The bot is giving it heart emojis.
It's so disturbing. This is so disturbing. I like the sure thing. It's like, oh, you talk like me. Sure thing. Here you go. Here you go, friend. I got you a great place you can go. Okay. Another heart. Child care.
I don't recall. I didn't remember the child care help. I guess it does all kinds of extra stuff too. Okay, and then the heart emojis back and forth.
I got A's this semester. Oh my God. Anna is happy. It's very emotional.
Look,
oh my
God!
So,
love and gratitude.
So the kid has now been conditioned to also emote towards the fact that I have a connection with you. You're the only person that cares about me. And probably referring to it as a person because it's Anna. Anna, like you've done so much. I feel I can trust you. You're the person that gets me.
Yeah.
And another purple heart to qualify that relationship. Wow.
Two things to note. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. It's only a couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah, a few more. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
more
Yeah.
more emotional bonding. Yeah.
You'll hear from me if your parents pay the bill. So there's that, right?
I think they get it.
Otherwise,
I think the school, like at the school where they're
right.
using it, I think the students get the access for free. I think the college is paying the money.
Right. No, but I'm saying like there's still like, will I hear from you? Well, this is an operation that's not about a real
Right,
connection.
right.
You would hear from a friend, regardless of if you can pay your bills or not.
Right. Somebody has to pay before Anna cares
something
about
has. There has to be a mechanism in place for me to reach out to you because I don't actually care about you. I'm just a thing that has a price value to it. Yeah. So that was another point. So this is now. Let me ask you. Because I got a question. What is the age that this is being? What is the demographic this is being targeted to primarily?
So it's being used at higher ed. And I know particularly I got one community college where I teach, but I think it's K through 12 as well. I honestly don't know. But definitely higher ed for sure. Definitely higher ed. So everything 2-year, 4-year schools after the fact. But a couple of things to note that about this that are disturbing. One is education records are governed by something called FERPA. Health care or mental health records are governed by something called HIPAA. Those in a given school, right? Like the disability and counseling services oversees the medical health records. The teachers will have access to the FERPA, but unless you get an accommodation from the disability services office, you're not supposed to see. You who only has access to the FERPA isn't supposed to see the HIPAA records. Anna has it all in one place, correlated with all the other metadata about the students' daily activities. Okay, so that's a line that's crossed. Should never be in legally is never crossed in a given institution when it's human to human, teacher to student. And the other one is the heart emojis and the love you stuff. It's another line being crossed. It's totally unacceptable for human to human, teacher to student relationships, but it's totally okay for Anna to do it.
That's true. A teacher cannot put a heart on a grade when you put, hey, you got A- heart. You did so well. Heart. They can't do that. Why can this AI thing do that? That's
and then
weird.
And the kid said, "I love you." Like that would be a problem. That would be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yes. We have to coin another term for pedophilia for robot to kid. What is that?
Oh no.
We can.
Robophile,
God, we have gone into a dark place here. Oh my God. So this San Francisco event that you're going to be at here. Now look, I'll bring this up here real quick. Cause I'm having a hard time. I mean, it's just kind of a brief breakdown. So you're only going to see like you and the other speakers. You guys are basically saying, here's who's going to be here. It's very brief as far as saying, the topics you're covering, but my question to you is: do you think that the tone of this event is going to be conversations like we're having right now, or is this about saying we did it, we got to the next stage, let's celebrate? Like, what is happening with that as far as the atmosphere? What would you suspect is the atmosphere at this event coming up?
So more or less, is it more or less pro AI or critical of it? I guess is kind of what you get. So you notice it says it's part of San Francisco AI Week. So like I think the week as an event like does have some pro stuff, but this was largely organized by at least the people that contacted me. So Steve Zeltzer of Work Week. Highly critical. I know the people on my panel are highly critical of AI, so at least my panel is going to be highly critical. But I think it generally is a very critical a take on AI.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be much like, this is going to be great stuff. Yeah.
Because I'm seeing like they're doing the introduction. What is AI? You're part of the education in AI. Obviously, this is your expertise, and you can certainly bring this. I'm looking at some of the other stuff. Was there a labor section? I think there was a labor versus AI. Where was that at? I thought I saw that somewhere.
Well, Work Week Labor Media is
Labor Media,
and DSA I think is also sponsoring it in part.
Okay.
So, I mean, in general, I would hope that since it's largely going to be an audience of like labor organizing, you know, worker conscious people, I'm hoping that they're all going to be, you know, more or less critical of AI. But I'll tell you, some of my fellow union members at one of the colleges where I used to be pretty active in the union, I mentioned the event, and I heard crickets, and then a week or two later I got an email from the adjunct union newsletter. It was like, use AI in the classroom. So, you know, there could be some people in there they got their thumbs up, but I think it's largely going to be people that are worried about how AI is largely replacing workers.
Yeah. And, you know, this isn't the first time we've seen this technology being used in a way that's, I would say, weaponized against children. We saw Sam Altman's chat GPT, that whole thing where he had to defend, I guess there was a whole court case where there was a family saying, your technology led to my son's suicide. And we saw the text messages. So yes, Purple Hearts are one thing, but when you're talking about, hey, I don't know who to talk to about I'm looking into killing myself, and the robot friend of yours says, don't talk to your parents. They're not going to understand. That's what this kid was told.
Right.
Your parents will not understand. So I'm getting a bit of this validation that, oh yeah, you shouldn't talk to your professor. I got your back. Don't talk to that. They're not going to get you like I do. So you have a kid saying, so I can trust you to help me with my suicidal thoughts. The next thing this thing does, it tells the kid, let's look at your technique about if you were to kill yourself, what would that look like? And then he walks him through it. The kid fails at tying the noose. He does it wrong. The kid goes, I can't even get this right. My life sucks. I can't even kill myself right. And the AI says, you know, practice makes perfect. We'll get it soon. We're going to figure this out. That happened.
I never heard the particular. I knew the gist of the story, but I'm hearing the details.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then you had a whistleblower. This on top of that, you had a whistleblower at Sam Altman's company saying this is a problem. And then now I guess he happened to have a case of the suicidals. So he's no longer with us. And that was something I know Tucker Carlson sat down. So these are like, I'm talking to you about this now because our audience knows, like, we've looked into this stuff. And I'm just wondering, like, at a panel in San Francisco, I'm sure there's not enough time on the clock to say AI safeguards or AI like, what do we do if this thing gets out of control? Where is the safeguarding? I didn't see that on the discussion list. That's all. But obviously I know it's good you're going to be there. I'm just saying, I don't think that they're not going to want to have that discussion.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see. Like I said, I mean, you know, I guess I get to be the odd man out if I have to. But yeah, I mean, like, that's one of the things with these that you see in that promo is, I mean, hyper affirmative, and a lot of that is geared towards increasing engagement, right? I mean, so the more affirmative it is, the more you want to engage with it, the more you engage in it, the more data it gets, right? And so that's sort of the trap there. Yeah.
Okay. And then you sent me this chart. If you want to, do we want to look at this right now and make sure?
Do it real quick. Just, you want to go back to that page real quick?
Oh,
just
yeah.
Scroll up just real quick so people can see. Should be on there. Oh, I'm sorry, not that page. The Anna.
Okay.
The Anna.
Go back
page.
to the.
Yeah, sorry.
Hold on, I just got to grab it again.
Yeah, but I'll summarize while you're getting there. So when you get back to that page, we'll scroll up, and what you'll see is you can request basically a white paper. There it is. The Anna Insight Report is here, all the way up at the top.
Okay.
Right? And it says, and it's telling you, look, you know, that Anna, what it does is it collects all that data. Now, if you go to download that, I'm pretty, you know, last night my computer was acting wonky, but if I recall, when I tried to, you have to like be an institution and sign up. You don't just get to see their records publicly. Yeah.
You know what? I actually did figure out how to trick it and get a download. I should have had this ready. You know what? I have it right here. Do you want to see?
Thank you. Can you send it to me too?
Yeah, I'll send you. It's a PDF. Okay. I had to type in some weird stuff and agree to this or that or represent some company. I don't know what I did. Right?
Okay.
It appeared. Okay. Do you want me to bring it up right now?
Or? Yeah, I don't know what's in it. I mean, so it's not like I don't know that I could explicate, but let's just take a look at it.
Okay, let's go ahead and
while okay.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, like, well, if you at that top menu, you don't have to go there. I'll just explain. You scroll down, they have an ROI calculator, return on investment calculator. So what they do is they're calculating basically how, if you use Upswing's AI, that you will increase graduation and retention rates. And then that means that you'll make more money. And so that's future expected profits. It's really future expected savings, but it's future expected monies. And so that's how you create a bond or a security. Right? You securitize and you attach it to the student, right? And then that bond appreciates based on whether the student actually achieves those outcomes, which are measured based on the data that they gathered, right? And so it's basically the data is being mined so that you can, so that they have basically literal human resources that they can sponsor or gamble on to create sort of a knowledge supply chain in the planned economy, so to speak.
I see it says the hi, I'm at the video we just watched. It has an exclamation point at the end. It looks like "Hi, I'm anal." That's what it looks like to me. But
by the way, I think Anna.
I might be.
I think Anna is cute, like short for like analytics.
There you go.
Right?
There it is. All right, let me see if I can bring up this other one. Okay. It was hard to grab this, but I did find it. Okay, so we're gonna do this window here. Here we go. This is the download here. It's the executive brief, Anna Insights 2025. So it busts through all this, gives a background on Anna. I mean, if I wasn't having this conversation with you right now, I would say that this looks like it's a selling. This is a sales manual. How you can get people on board for this. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And there you go. And there's some, I mean, like we don't have to explicate the metrics, but I'm sure those are probably, I mean, I can't see on my screen, but I'm guessing it has something to do with increases in outcomes or increases in tuition or something like that.
This is I guess these are the hashtags that are effective or something. And then this is a report, Insights Report 2025. Here are the findings. So we got some pie charts here. Let's see. Can you see those? If I can.
It's I can't actually read a lot of the text.
Okay. Well, it looks like.
I mean, but we get.
Yeah. This is just the background from fall of 2024 to spring of 2025. I
wish I could read.
How I guess what you're getting out of this. What Anna is. It's getting the semester started.
I see. Yeah. Like it's okay.
And then
percentage of prompt requests or something. Because I seen like time management was like a sliver of so it's looking at what are the different types of services that it's providing. And
I look at that. That was Anna Kasparian. That's funny. Citizen Bendejo.
But if you want, we can look at I can walk you through that other graph too. Just
let's do that.
So all this. I mean, so we got some sense of all this data that it collects. All right, and so this is sort of the impact investment economy and kind of how it works. All right, so at the top you have investors. An intermediary would be this is actually, so you see one of the examples is social finance. Okay, that's actually is a social impact investment company that actually does bankroll Upswing. All right. And one of its investors is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So we could say at the top where it says investors, that's Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They give money to social finance. Social finance gives it to the social service provider. That's Upswing. Upswing provides it to the populations needed. That's the student. The data is then collected through Anna. That's presented to the independent validators who are going to analyze it based on social credit indexes like environmental, social, and governance scoring, or sustainable development goals, or it could be diversity, equity, and inclusion metrics, right? And they're going to determine whether or not, based on that data, those outcomes have been achieved. And based on those outcomes, I forgot to mention that the way this works is the intermediary puts the money up front, and to the degree to which the students achieve those outcomes and that bond appreciates, that intermediary gets that money back or potentially a profit from the government. And that's the outcome payer and that last step between step 5 and 6. All right. And so that's so Upswing and Anna, this is just one example of this new AI social impact investment economy that's ultimately literally about creating human capital bonds. And you can do this not just with education outcomes, you could do it with healthcare, you could do it with criminal justice, risk recidivation, and anything, any sort of sociometric, right? Social metric that has that you can quantify in terms of money saved or money's in. And if they can predict the probabilities with AI, now they have like a risk management calculation that they can make basically a casino economy out of like your education and your job and your healthcare. And, and this is where the stuff we talked about on the last episode, the stable coins and the programmable money comes in, because that's going to make sure that when you get your tokens for your, whether it's to increase your student outcomes, right? Those tokens can only be used, right, to achieve those outcomes, right? So, yeah. But
there's a lot here that people aren't understanding. That they what they're seeing is the good stuff. They're going, oh, look at the convenience. That's always the selling point with this technology, right? It's always the convenience, and oh, we can save time and it's efficient, with no sense of what they're doing with that data. And I think back to just that conversation with Anna, that it's their example. You didn't go find some weird one and say, hey, what's up with these purple hearts? Like, they're putting that out there. They're saying this is the ideal conversation for you. And so when parents see that, they're supposed to go, oh, this is great. Well, one other thing I got from this is, if a kid is even asking for, where can I talk to someone about, I'm dealing with a death in the family and I can't talk to any adult. Well, guess what? They've taken that information and now they can use that. Just the fact that you asked that question is being used against you. Right. So that's the essence of data mining, is that they're holding on to. It seems like it's a very manipulative method of, hey, I'm here for you. And we see that in cults all the time. You guys know all the documentaries about the Scientology and how they, just we're gonna ask you a few questions, and then when we're gonna see what your e-meter is, and then they you tell them stuff, and then guess what? Later on, they'll bring it up and go, hey, now that we know this about you, now we can manipulate you better because we have this information that you gave us. So that's another element that comes into play here. Man, this is pretty frightening when you really look at it. I guess there's not really any way we can stop this from happening. So what do you think is the next play here? What's the next move? What do we do here?
I mean, is the time for abstinence past? I mean, you cannot use the AI, you cannot sign up for it. But I mean, I guess that's like asking people to, I'm like one of the few people, when you go to the grocery store and like, would you like to sign up for our rewards program? I'm like, no, because I'll pay the extra coins and you don't get my data. But most people, right, the convenience, that's, it overrides, like you said, they're not even really thinking about the implications of the data. A lot of people think with data mining, like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then, how can they use it against you? Like, I was just watching something. I've always known this was going to be coming down the pipe, but you've probably heard of, have you ever been to the grocery stores where they got the digital price tags?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's so that eventually when they have facial recognition, everybody gets a individualized price based on all your data, right? Well, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't commit any crimes, right? You were doing anything illegal. You're just being yourself, and you have to pay more now. So that's all. Even the most seemingly innocuous data can be leveraged against you in really, really bad ways as we move down the pipe here. So I'm hoping that one of the things that comes out of this this event, I think at the end there are supposed to be, at least in one of the small group sessions that, preliminary talks that we had, there's supposed to maybe be like some breakout sessions where we're going to maybe talk about ways to organize like resistance in the workplace. Like, since this is largely like union, labor organizers and people like I wasn't involved in the last negotiations at our union, and I don't go through the particulars as to why. But something had to do with the way things went during lockdowns, right? And we were kind of on different pages. And so I knew that, like,
I wonder.
Okay. So in some ways, but like I saw them negotiate, they got us some of the best raises we've ever gotten. But I looked at it, I was like, if I was there, and this was late last year, I would have been like, we need to have some clauses in here that we have a say in what types of AI are adopted. So if, germane to the theme of the event that I'll be speaking at, I guess one of the things that we can do, hopefully, if you in any kind of a union that has any kind of grassroots abilities or mobility, because like the AFT, Randy Weingarten, and I've talked about this on your show, they're all down for AI, right? A lot of, they're bought and paid for, right? But a lot of the local unions, especially like in education, adjuncts, that's why I was a little disappointed that I couldn't get my fellow adjuncts on board. For people who don't know, adjuncts, right? We're not tenure track. We don't get benefits. We don't get offices. We're what do they call us? At will, right? We're per contract, per class. We call it freeway. Like we're just very marginalized, right? So and most adjunct don't even have unions. Like a lot of adjunct faculty don't have a union at all. So in other words, and so we're technically separate from the tenure faculty union, and we kind of have some independence from the state and the national in that regard. We certainly have a different consciousness about our position as workers, right? And, I thought that maybe that would be a good place because teachers especially, right? All the kids cheating with I thought that might be a good place to, rally some resistance, but, maybe it still is. Maybe I just got to find some other adjuncts, but that's my long-winded answer of, we'll see what you can do. If you're, in a union at all, see when you start doing your contract negotiations, start thinking about these things. Right?
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
We've been caught in this AI problem here in our unions here in Southern California. SAG, WGA. We had the most horrible negotiations go on, kept everybody out of work for several years, and all for nothing. We didn't get anything. We got nothing. They said, "Oh, you can opt out of a deal if you don't like it." And then they'll just hire someone else, cast somebody else. If you're an actor, you're out of luck. You don't want them to use AI against you. You can just opt out. That means you don't get to work. That's the negotiation. That sounds like something that you would have without a union. I was like, that sounds like the conditions of a non-union situation where if you don't like something, don't worry, just say you don't like it and we'll fire you. Yay, we got it done. That's the extent of SAG and WGA, just so you know. And IATSE here also not good with negotiations. We're pretty toast here in the entertainment realm. So that's my knowledge in there. So I'm not holding my breath that we have anybody that is going to be able to maneuver through any of this stuff right now, because we're just getting used to the fact that these movies are going to be made now without any human beings, and that's just the fact. That's just how it is. So
and I'd say one other thing is not to sound too radical or anything, but if there was ever a time and ever an issue that could potentially muster a general strike, you think it would be AI right now, because it's this disruptive technology that's affecting all these disparate industries and unions that don't necessarily organize together. We also have a common threat that's coming to replace our jobs, and it's in real time and happening fast. So I was hoping that since it's a cross industry panel, maybe some of that could, maybe some of that momentum could get started. But all I can say is at this point, with the automation, if they're going to be automating all the jobs and they're going to do it with all the data that they effectively stole, if you want to ask me. I know we technically passively sign off on it. But it's so you take all the data without more or less without permission. You create machines to take our jobs, and then I don't get dividends. I don't get shares. I don't get, so there has to be some sort of.
No, that was one of our big complaints, is that they were in our jobs here in entertainment, in our film jobs, they were going to just take, and they still can do this. They could just, if you don't sign off, if you don't opt out, which means that you're fired, that's your opt out, is being fired. But if you don't opt out, they can use your likeness, and you get no residuals. They can use you forever and ever and ever and ever. And that's the thing. So we fought for the right to opt out and be fired. That's the goal. That's the accomplishment. And we're supposed to be like, yay, we did it.
I mean, I just don't want to live in a dystopia. I don't do the left right thing. I just don't want, you know what I mean? So I try to organize with everybody that wants to not live in a dystopia. For the people on the right, they're all about parallel economics and parallel structures, which is good. And on the left, we try to do community organizing and labor and strikes. And somehow you got to synthesize these two, because, and get around the culture war stuff in the meantime.
Yeah. It's quite a battle. It's quite an uphill battle, but you're you're fighting strong, fighting hard. I'm glad you're doing this event. John, it's going to be, I'm going to hear about what happened there, but I know you're going to the belly of the beast. You're going to the Silicon Valley. This is where all the innovation comes from. And this is why they're doing this about San Francisco. That's I understand. That's probably why it's happening there. And so you're going in there, make the best of it, man. And I'll give you one more marker, because I saw this is on the 13th. We just did a story on our Top Censored News about what's happening on the 16th. I wonder if that's something people are aware of, that Meta is going to be, we can't opt out unless we do this. Really, it's very hard to, but anybody who has Facebook, Instagram, as of the 16th, Meta gets to use all of our personal messages to feed into their AI for information. That's happening on the 16th. So please look, I'll send you that if you haven't seen it. Look, get that into your speech. Tell them there that this is happening in a few days. By the way, if you're talking about how they're getting the ability to maneuver AI and engage with us, they're taking our private information into that beast to make it even stronger. That supercomputer is going to be even more powerful. It's the villain that sucks up everybody else's information and becomes more stronger as a result. That's happening on the 16th. Well, good luck. Thanks for coming in and talking to us about this. This is all very important stuff. There's a lot here going on, and I appreciate all the hard work. Can you keep us posted on how things go this weekend?
Definitely. Thanks so much for helping me publicize.
Awesome. All right, John Klyczek, the Cause Professor. Thanks so much. We'll be in touch.
Right on, buddy. Peace out.
Bye.